The future of Classic WoW. Now there's a controversial topic. Where is it heading? What should we expect? How will it end? Well, lucky for you guys, I've done a bit of research, read a few forum posts, utilised some critical thinking techniques, and I've come up with a short list of possible scenarios that Blizzard may take in the future in regards to Classic World of Warcraft. Keep in mind, of course, that Classic progression will come to an end eventually, so these scenarios were created from a realistic, financial, business perspective. So Blizzard, if you're watching this, you're more than welcome to help yourself to these ideas and use them as your own. I really do not mind. But without further ado, let's take a look at this list. So number 1, they stop at Cataclysm or Mist of Pandaria and reset expansion progression. Since Cata is pretty much confirmed and Blizzard will definitely not be touching Warlords of Draenor due to financial reasons, it's realistic to assume they'll probably stop at one of these two expansions. Once Deathwing or Garrosh are killed, they could announce that further expansions will be brought to Classic WoW, transfer all last expansion characters onto a Classic era server, and reset Vanilla Classic to repeat the progressive 3 or 4 expansion experience over another 3 to 6 years in a never-ending loop. This would be my least favourite outcome, of course, since every Classic player would lose all of their character's progression, all titles, achievements, mounts and pets to a practically dead last expansion server that no one will want to play. Yes, they'll likely have a few Classic era servers ongoing at this time, but not many because there's no way they will manage 5 Season of Mastery servers all at the same time. Terrible way to go, but probably the most likely scenario on this list. Number 2. They stop at Wrath of the Lich King, reset expansion progression, and fully refine Season of Mastery servers. Ah, the almighty trio: Vanilla, TBC and Wrath of the Lich King. This would allow them to really step up their game with 3 Season of Mastery expansions simultaneously, and again create a separate vanilla server where the progression is reset, allowing players to progressively advance through each expansion once again over a 2 to 4 year timescale. You still lose all progress to a dead Classic era server, of course, but losing 2 expansions worth of work is far better than losing 4. This, however, would be quite unlikely, as I can't imagine 3 Season of Mastery servers, 1 main server and at least 1 Classic era server to store characters no longer part of the main server progression. That's a lot of servers to manage simultaneously, and it does risk spreading the player base too thinly, resulting in smaller servers, harder group finding and longer queue times, which nobody wants. Number 3, they create Classic Plus servers with new spin-off content. Now this one is a bit of a stretch, but can you imagine? Brand new Classic only content. Get into Mount Hyjal before Cataclysm, experience the true might of the Culturians or the Dragon Maw clan from the early leveling zones, take on a new demon-themed dungeon in Desolace or Ashenvale, or my personal 2007 favourite, actually gaining access to the Emerald Dream. The potential is truly limitless when it comes to spin-off content, since it doesn't technically affect the game's main storyline. But to be fair, I'd be extremely surprised if they announced any changes as large as these, simply due to the sheer volume of work required to create said brand new content. But how can I call myself a WoW fan without including this as a possible scenario? And finally, number 4, which is my personal favourite. They stop at Cata or MoP, reset expansion progression, create Season of Mastery exclusive rewards, and allow achievement/collectible carry over. This is by far the best way to ensure full in-game servers and high subscription retention in my opinion. Continue up to MoP as normal and reset the progression as mentioned in number 1, but only have a single active Season of Mastery expansion at a time with Season of Mastery specific rewards such as exclusive mounts, pets and titles. Very similar to Diablo 3 Seasons. Completely scrap Classic era servers because, let's be honest, not enough people are on them anyway, and allow all Classic related achievements, mounts, toys and titles to be account bound and across all characters exactly like retail WoW. Imagine getting to the end of MoP, killing Garrosh, the server is being reverted back to vanilla and starting again in 2 months. What would you rather? Your character being sent to a Classic era server where you'll never play it again, or allow your character to be deleted but your Scarab Lord title Your ashes of Allah mount and all your achievements are saved to every single character you create over every classic expansion, with restrictions of course, such as no Adal title until TBC or no riding a Time Lost Proto Drake until Wrath. Now that to me is the pinnacle of classic WoW's potential, realistically speaking. The only drawback I can think of is over the course of 10 to 30 years, the rarer mounts, titles and pets will become far more common over the entire classic player base, but let's be honest, who really cares? And there we have it guys, a list of possible scenarios that Blizzard may take when deciding the fate of classic WoW. Maybe you disagree with this list, maybe you have better scenarios in mind, or maybe you think they'll eventually release a classic BFA server. No fucking chance. Either way, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to find out what the player base thinks. But I think I've rambled on enough as it is, so as always, all the best guys, take care.